You're listening to the Flow Friday Sports Show on Flow FM, and it's time to have Bruce Phillips join me on the line now. Broom, Bruce Phillips to talk all about Speedway action. Unfortunately, there wasn't any of it last week due to the rains that we got around southeastern parts of the country. Not the only coast to be affected, of course, but nevertheless, Bruce, it's good to be back with you. Hopefully the Speedway is back. I'm sure it will be. How are you?
G'day there, Ellison. Yeah, it was a really wet weekend last week, and that goes without saying. But what we can put for a review last week was there was racing at Borderline Speedway, and there was also racing at Dubbo, and they were two big meetings that both got washed out. But check a picture on the Sunline Speedway Facebook page up there at the magnificent Riverland of South Australia, at just out of Wakery, about 10 minutes. And a little beautiful racetrack there of Sunline. There's a few pictures on there, and the place just got an absolute deluge. And good old Wacker up there, the manager of the Speedway, I think she's just about to open some boat races. Oh, it's just unbelievable. Right around the whole back and front straight, it's just covered in water, and just magnificent pictures have been able to capture up there of the weekend's rain. But sadly it was very widespread, and probably the worst ones that come out of it were some of the farmers that have still got their grains to get off, and certainly would have damaged the grains. But look, it really was a very widespread rain. I call that rain the bindi eye rain, because it's usually a good rain we get in November that makes all the bindi eye, or if you're not familiar with bindi eye, caltrop grow. It's a noxious weed. It's a shocking weed. And that's about all that rain was really good for. But good for the gardens, but it was a very wet weekend for sure.
It absolutely was. Some residential flooding in the southeast too, which was not good to hear about. Bruce, let's talk about some happier times, and hopefully we're going to get them across this weekend in the Speedway action. I don't know where we should go first. I suppose we best talk about Toowoomba first, Bruce, but over to you. Give us a preview of all the heats lined up this weekend around the country.
Oh, well, this is a big night up there at the High Tech Oils Toowoomba Speedway, Saturday, December the 2nd. It is the Pink Night, and it's a night where you dress up and you go along wearing something in pink, and all donations received go towards helping cancer research and cancer. And it is a great night, and a lot of speedways have this particular night to raise money, the Pink Night. And it's the UFC Queensland Round 3, and it's not a bad prize pool either, $5,000 to win. And look, there is 44 nominations, so a great list of nominations up there in Toowoomba. And looking at some of the drivers that are going to be pretty much watched in this one, Cody Morosky in the Q16. He's going to be right up there on the finish line. You throw in blokes like Mitch Gowland, and you've got on the other side of the ledger, Lockie McHugh in the NQ7. Jesse Addard's been going all right. Jai Corbett. So some big names racing up there. Alex Addard and lady racer. We like to mention the lady racers as well. Talia Appelt in the Q97, I think it is. And, of course, one of the other ladies in the field is Erin van der Eyden. So, look, it's a good field up there. 44 cars in the Queensland UFC Round 3. Pink Night, so it should be a big one up there, mate.
Sounds that way, Bruce. Over to Wangaratta. Tell us what we can expect out of this heat.
Over at Wangaratta there, it's a pretty good field up there for Wangaratta. At 16 sprint cars, and it's the SRA, the continuation on of the SRA Open Sprint Car Series, Round 5 at Wangaratta, and 16 cars, as I said. Let's have a look at the nominations there, seeing as it's a small field. Bobby Daly, Brett Milburn, David Aldersley. You've got Grant Anderson, he's one of the favourites heading into the Classic in January. Marcus Green, Michael Bragg, Sam Walsh, Warren Ferguson, Brendan Scorchi, Kobe Elliott, David Dennison, Kate Searle, Mark Carlin, Parker Scott, and Terry Rankin, and Zach Pacharotta. Looking at this one, look, I'd probably go with the money on Bobby Daly and Brett Milburn. They are two very good drivers, along with Grant Anderson. He'll probably get the chocolates in a good little field there at Wangaratta for the FRA Series Round 5.
Staying in Victoria, we'll go to Horsham now, Bruce.
Yeah, over in Horsham, it's at the Little Blue Ribbon Speedway. The little raceway there, it's a nice little fast track over there. Beautiful little venue. And rather like this one, we've been there a couple of times for the local sprint car photography and media team. The mainline dynamometers All-Star Series, the 360 class. Well, they don't really call them the 360s anymore. They call them the Pro Sprint. And it's round 1. So it's the opening of the All-Star Series. And it's a 19-car field over there on the Blue Ribbon Raceway. And it should be a magnificent night's racing there. Let's have a look at some of the drivers. The Phil Lock, the dairy farmer, back in the V4. Had a big accident there a couple of years ago, and he's back. You've got the South Australian A1 of the mainline dynamometers in Mark Caruso. And look, great to see Mark heading over from South Australia. Got to defend that title. We're pretty parochial over here in South Australia. Brendan Quinn, another South Australian, heading over in the S14. And also from South Australia, out of Broken Hill, you've got to the S96 of Brendan Guerin. But they'll be up against some stiff opposition from Victoria in the likes of Paul Solomon, Rusty Hickman in the V40, the lady racer in this one, Stacey Galliford. She's got a lot of experience, so it should be a great night's racing there. Look, I think Mark Caruso will be right up there at the pointy end. And you've got some other good races there. Young Zach Farrar in this one at the Blue Ribbon Raceway. 19 noms. Should be a great night there for the opening night of the mainline dynamometer series.
Why don't we get on the ferry and head over to Tassie? And Bruce, I can't believe this, but one of the races, Santa Claus.
Oh, look, they might even get their favourite son down there at the Gulf Western Oils Latrobe Speedway in Jock Goodyear. He's going back home, and what a magnificent thing it is for the fans down there at Latrobe. Maybe Jock might just put the Santa Claus outfit on, and he is the current Australian One title holder, and he is just in sensational form and just winning everywhere around the country. Is Jock Goodyear, and look, he's been racing up in Queensland. He's been down at Premier Speedway. He's been over here for a meeting at Murray Bridge, and he really is all class. And he goes home to Latrobe for this Gulf Western Oils round. There's 12 nominations, which is not a bad little field, but gee, he's going to have some stiff opposition. There's a couple of blokes down there in Tasmania, the likes of Adam Alexander and Luke Redpath. You've got Jamie Bricknell and, of course, Ethan Wiley, who's been having a great season down there, opening the first couple of rounds. So Jock Goodyear heading home to Tasmania to compete in this one, and I reckon it'll be a packed house there at the Gulf Western Oil Speedway at Latrobe. 12 nominations. Should be a huge night of racing down there on the Isle.
And finally, Bruce, we'll head west to the Perth Motorplex, and everyone attending is being encouraged to wear orange.
Oh, look, why not? It's an orange night, John Day Classic over there, the WA Sprint Car title. It's a big meeting for the bragging rights, and of course you've got the return there of to the Maddington Toyota Series of the Monty car, and of course it should be a big field of 31 cars. You've got Dane Kingshot. Can he go back to back in the W2? He's had a great start to the season, has the Dane Kingshot. But he's going to be up against stiff opposition in the likes of James McFadden, and Jamie Veal will roll into the Perth Motorplex. So two big guns. McFadden back from his duties in America, and he will be driving in this one and lining up in the W3. So Jamie Veal in the W17 he's in the Monty car. So that should be a real big jewel. And I reckon they'll pack the rafters in this one. It'll be standing room only over there at the Kwinana because a lot of people wouldn't have seen McFadden and Veal come together for one night in the one show. So should be a great. They haven't been racing together since 2021. So it should be a great night over there at the Perth Motorplex for the John Day Classic. Some of the other nominations, Jason Kendrick in the W11. He'll be around the mark too. Brad Maolo's always up and about. Luke Oldfield. Mitch Warmel's had a much improved season. And our man we do a little bit of media work for over there in Western Australia, Jason Pride. So in the W14. So should be a great night's racing. Of course, as we said there, James McFadden driving the W3, the Williamson car with Williamson out with some injury. So we wish him all the best in recovery. But there should be a big meeting over there. Perth Motorplex for the John Day Classic, the WA Sprint Car title.
And don't forget, folks, to stay abreast of all the Speedway action, head to the local Sprint Car Photography and Media Facebook page. Bruce Phillips, our correspondent on all things Speedway, thanks so much for your time and enjoy the action. We'll speak to you next week.
Yeah, hopefully we've got some racing in. And, thanks for having us on. And we look forward to bringing that all to you next week. Cheers, mate. See you next week.